Well, hello, 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 and welcome. This is Julie the Jewel Design. I'm so happy you're here today. Okay, as you can see, you see a what's the word? A thingy. What is it? Sewing machine. There we go. Cheers. It's been a little bit. Why not? So today we are working on finally creating, because we're almost done with it, the cover to the back of this Sterling Altered book. It is quite big. It is quite thick. Like I said, I have 3 more sections to do, right? 3 to take out, 3 coffee-ish, and 3 interactive sections to work on. And in the back here, though we have some stuff, I was going to try to leave a few decorative pages back here left over, like clear ones, but I'm starting to get a little worried. So I'm tempted to glue this one to this one, and we're gonna do cover stock on top of that. We're gonna go cover stock, at least semi, see if we can get it to stick to any of this. And then we're going to put a fabric cover from just a smidge into the front around to the back. So we're going to try to see if we can make this back a little more sturdy, to sort of hold a nice base to this journal, because this journal is always going to sit here and you're going to open it and you're going to play with it, but it'd be nice knowing that the back side is protected and is something that it's sitting on, you know, at all times, and a little something that just laps over and keeps us hopefully all intact. So we're going to do a few things today. So I started off with measuring, of course, the book, giving about 1/4 of an inch extra both ways. So it ended being, let's see, the back needs to be, the whole kit and caboodle from front wrapped around to the back edge was about 9.5 inches, or a little under 9.5. I think it was like 9-ish. So I gave it 1/4 of an inch on each end. So I did 1 inch for the spine, 1.5 inch for the front, and about 5.5 inches straightly across the back. And it's only needing to be 8 1/4, 8 3/4, 8.5 top and bottom. I just want a little bit above, beyond the actual book. So I gave it 8 3/4 here. So when I sew it close, I have a hemline, right? I need some space to do this with. So you always remember, if you're not used to sewing, which I forget to do half the time, you know, you need at least 1/4 of an inch top and bottom, or whatever sides to add. So about 1/2 inch to add to your measurements to make sure all goes well. Now I have black on the bottom and I can put white on the top. It's really not going to matter what thread I use right now, because we're not going to see any of it. It's all going to be turned. I have it front to front, so with batting on one end, so that when you turn it inside out, you have a nice clean line. So I don't think when I'm done, I think I'm going to keep it clean. I don't think I'm going to I normally would sew it the other way around, or I would go back and re-sew it to where you could see a seamed sort of border, and I'm not really in the mood for that right there. I think this way we're going to keep it pretty clean, because we're not going to see much of it. We're going to see, like I said, about 1.5 inches or less in the front, and even then we're going to cover parts of that up with with lace. So we're really not seeing a whole lot of it. So I'm really not worried about too much of it, all in all, right? So we're just going to go ahead and do this real quick as we get going. Like I said, you can't, if the sewing machine bugs you, the sound or whatever, either mute it, hit the 30-second update, you know, hit the 30-second, fast forward a few times until I'm done. I'm trying not to edit the video, so I can't quite bounce you forward, but you can be able to tell once I'm done. All of a sudden I'll bring the machine down and we'll turn this inside out and all that jazz. I do need, though, to go turn on the ironing board. I think we're going to need to do a little bit of a press job. Otherwise, what is that color? Navy blue underneath? Maybe. So hold on one second. Let me go turn the curling iron. Yeah, I'm going to curl it. Ironing board on so that we can do a nice clean press on this. So 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. See, 1 second. For you, 1 second. No, I did, when I did this, I did press it right side out, inside out. Pressed it a little bit so that I had a general idea where my line was going to be, you know, for working it. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, but it might help, right? So I'm just going to do a nice, simple, straight job. Usually I'll zigzag it if we're seeing it. I will do a number of other things. So let's go, yeah, A's about middle, B's too far out. Though B, yeah, new machine, so I'm always still messing with it, going, which way do I want to do this? Let's see, that's a really big, that's almost 1/2 inch. Okay, let's go in. Because, yeah, if I go A, I have more inside. I'm always trying to find a line to work with, of course. as I hear my machine. Okay, so we're going to sew this real quick. I'm just doing a straight line. I'm trying to give myself about 1/4 of an inch, you know, hem to the edge. And I'm going to go, ew, do I need to go across the back? Trying to think inside. It wouldn't really matter. I mean, turning it inside out. I mean, I measured it for that, I think. So 5.5. I'm trying to think if I'm going to cut myself short if we do that. Hold on. I'm like, wait a minute. I need 2.5 inches. No, this is white, but we're going to tuck that in. You're not going to see it. I'm only 9. Oh, I needed 9.5. What happened there? Uh-oh. I wanted 1.5. So I needed a 1-inch border. Seam 1.5 inches for that. And 5.5 from there. So 5 would have been 2.5. Minus 8. No, I guess I did do okay. Well, I know I needed a little bit to tuck in, and that was my thing, was that if I didn't want to, if I wanted to be able to tuck a little under, because I was only going about here, tuck this under and glue it down. I really just wanted from here, which is what, I'm not quite 8.5. I'm just trying to figure out, do I have anything to sew? I may not want to sew this back section. I may just leave it flat hemmed, and there's no sew line back here. Yeah, I always think about that. I was going to do 2 pieces together, and then I would definitely have had to sew 3 sides, flip it inside out, and then this one we are just tucking down a little bit. It's a nice clean line in the front. And that's why I didn't care that there was white here, even on a good side, because I was going to get tucked under. This was going to get, you know, if there was something available, it was going to be tucked under, which you can't see it either way. Maybe that's why I didn't care about it. I'm just trying to decide if I want to get rid of that, because I do need a little bit to tuck under. And you do the numbers, and then you go back and think, well, okay, 1-inch spine, 1.5 inch on the front. Then I said 5.5 in the back, so 5 is 7.5. 1/2 inch is 8. That still leaves me that 1/4, and that still tucks in here. So yes, I could do a nice clean hem, and I'd have a tucked in hem here instead of a rounded. I don't know what I want to do about it. I don't want it to bounce around. I hate when I get wishy-washy, guys. I'm so sorry. I was trying to think on the end where at least this, when you sew top and bottom here for me, I'm keeping the batting in place because I'm not sewing this end at all. So I didn't want anything to be bouncing around, but we are gluing it pretty flat down to the fabric. So maybe I'll just go really tight to this, turn it inside out, because we're going to see a hem, like we're going to see that sort of clean line, and if I don't do that straight, it's going to get really crazy. So I'm not going to, okay, so I'm only going to sew down the top and the bottom. We're going to leave this, and we're going to use the press of the ironing board to give me a nice crisp edge here, and we'll do the same on this end. When we go to tuck it in and glue it down, we're going to also, now I may go back once we turn it inside out and sew this very closely together, so it doesn't bounce around before I tuck it under, and that may be the difference. So we're just going to give it a shot, guys. This poor cover has come and gone about 5 ways to Sunday. Doesn't seem to matter. We're just going by the seat of our pants. So, all right, I'm going to sew. I know. Well, maybe hate yourself. Like everything else, like I do with other things, I try to cut straight, but you know, I can't sew straight either. It's amazing how that works. Okay, let's do this. You're gonna relax yourself. Oh, you got caught up. That's sort of weird. I'm hoping everything went right. Yeah, I got a little. Nice thing is when you do it inside out, or you go, you know, right side to right side, and you're going to turn it inside out. I'm sort of creating a slip cover in a way. At least that was my first thought, and I could have done this, and I should have probably done it, and I may kick myself. 2 pieces of fabric sewn together, but I was like, well, while I'm here, it doesn't make any sense to not just, you know, take it, double it, fold it in half, and go about it that way. But sometimes I think you know, I sort of, oops, shoot myself in the foot for that one. So we'll see. There we go. Hold on. I am trying to sew this back through. It's going to be one of those days. Well, I hope you're all doing well. It is a happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. we are back to somewhat normal schedule. It was definitely senior ditch day today for the senior, haha. Which she has a short day anyway because of internship, and she was like, oh, I guess I really can't do that. I have to go to work. I'll go to class. And then she gets to class, she's like, man, the boss just called and said there's no one at work and schedules are all weird and kids are still sick, and she goes, there's just nothing for me to do. So she came home anyway, right? So her beau has 6 block off, so they're still going to go to the movie. They're going to go to the movies early. But not quite your standard senior ditch day. I don't remember. I guess I ditched. I don't know. My parents just called me in sick, probably, and we did something. I really don't remember. We were really good kids, so I don't, it wasn't one of those like, oh, I don't want to go to school today. It was like, oh, it's supposedly, a certain something, but well, that popped up. Yeah, something's up with the tension on my thing. I noticed for some reason, something's off here, because it keeps getting really tight, like it's in the wrong direction or something. Something's up with my bottom bobbin is all weird. I don't know if I have the tension. Maybe the tension's too tight. Let me loosen up that tension for future. I know the zigzag and stuff, sometimes those other the tensions for the other things are different, but a straight line doesn't maybe need to be that tight. Okay, I'm going to take this down for, well, maybe for a moment. We'll see. We are going to play with it a little bit, right? Let's see what happens. So we got, pretty much I'm sewing it. Of course, just tighten it up. And 2, to keep the batting, just to give it some fluff, because otherwise just fabric is sort of thin. Not much to it if you just do fabric. Unless you had a really heavy canvas or outdoor fabric or something that you happen to have a weird scrap of, then that might not need much of anything else to go with it. Making sure I'm recording right. Yes, okay. No idea what you just saw, but hey, it's fine. So I can't really cut the corners like you would normally do because you're going both sides. So I'm going to cut the outer corner just to keep the material down to a minimum. Always helps, right? Let's see what we get. Press it to where I think I need it. Because see, what I didn't want to do is have this, I think, on the end of the... It's one thing top and bottom, I think, but I don't know if I wanted that at the end of my book. The journal on the edge where you can see it. I didn't think I really wanted that. I wanted a smoother finish, and so I'm sort of glad I think I did that. So we'll have to flatten it. We'll press it down, see how it's looking, see how it fits. And once it's all pressed, that feels good though. That definitely feels floofy. Just floofy enough. All right, so I'm going to pause one more time because I can't bring you over to the ironing machine here. But I'm going to iron it down really quickly and just give it a nice finish to see how that end looks. And then we'll do some basic placement and see how we're doing. And then we'll know where to sew maybe this end shut now. We might do a quick little zigzag so that when I tuck it under before we flip it out, before we wrap it around, it has a nice clean line that we can also then press down. So, all right, one moment. I could talk to you, but I'd be talking from afar and you'd be staring at nothing here, and that wouldn't be much fun. So hold on one second again. I almost hit the wrong button, ladies and gentlemen. That would have been terrible after all of that. But there's times where you're not supposed to do something, right? Okay, so then the goal is, now I won't do anything permanent, but the goal is now we're going to line it up here on the back. Okay, so it covers it nicely. Has a little bit beyond, and then it would come up here across the front. And there's not a lot of wiggle room. So if we do sew it, then I'm gonna press it just the smallest amount, and we would, press it down, and it would have a nice, soft, pressed down edge here, just like we have on the outside. So that's the goal, is just this nice wraparound. And even if I don't get it to glue down much to the thing, it looks really nice on my end. And it's hard to hold up and look at it, but if we can get it to glue down, it has a really nice look, I think. So I think we're going to be definitely putting cardstock on this back page and gluing it to another page and then gluing it down to here. As much as I would love to see, all of this. And I hate that we don't. I think a nice clean linen, we're going to do a linen cardstock with And it's actually, you're not even going to see that because all you're going to see is this, which is fine. I know I had inked this one simple, and I had inked this one patterned to write on, but this by itself glued to this, I'm afraid, I just feel like it's not going to be enough. I don't want anything to rip out by accident. So I think we're going to glue these together. We're going to glue this together, and I think I'm going to cover it even around this. I don't think I need to cover around the spine because that's really soft. So I think we're just going to keep it right here, and we're going to glue it down to this, and I'm going to try to glue the fabric the best I can to the softness of the spine. Okay, let's do a quick zigzag on the edge. Just a little something to hold. Oh, sorry. Let's see, where are we back to? Let's see. 3. Let's go halfway between 3 and 4. We know we're going this way, so I'm going to go upside down because I think I want to put the cream. It doesn't really matter. If I go inside enough, it won't matter. All right, let's just do right on the edge here. I don't need to go to the edge of the fabric on the top and bottom, just down the middle as best I can. So let's give this a shot. There we go. Yeah, my new, this new thing flies. It's a little scary. Well, it flies. I don't know what's up with this. There we go. Definitely seeing some weird tension. Might need to be cleaned out. I haven't used it in a couple, feels like months I haven't used my machine. Oh my goodness. Probably not a good thing, but it's in a bag, so it's not going to get super dusty, but it still gets dusty. All right, so then we're going to, I get to finally take this out of the way. I can, because we don't need it for anything else. We can get it out of the way, and we can get to the gluing and the backing of all of this, right? I'll put it down below, and I'll tuck it away later. Let's tuck it in, tuck it out, turn it off so I don't catch my fingers. Wouldn't that be terrible? Yeah, pretty much accident-free this break, so let's keep it that way, right? If I turn it off, but if I accidentally sit on the, or step on the paddle. All right, so it's tucked away. That's tucked away. Don't want to trip over any wires. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I'm going to, one more second. Okay, so we are now pressed. We're sewn shut so it doesn't come loose. It's pressed so it doesn't get in the way and gives us something a little bit more sturdy to glue down. Okay. So it's going to go like this. My pins. Whoop. Oh, it was my jacket. I'm like, what fluff fur hair was tickling me there for a second. Okay, then let's do this. Let's see. We can do one of two things. We can either try and decide if we want to either trace the book so that the cardstock is the right length. Now the cardstock could go a little beyond the book, just like the fabric goes a little bit beyond the book, so that there is no chance of issues. And I'm not going to glue all the way in. I'm just trying to get the edges, you know, a little bit here, but I want to, except for the potential of, hold on. I'm hoping this works. I probably do want a little bit of something a little bit more solid, and I don't even want that. Guess I better get my fabric tack going too, right guys? Oh my goodness. I was so excited to get on. You know, it's a Monday moment, and I'm trying to get in between all their schedules. At least today she's not going to, since she didn't go to work, and they're roaming around town and forcing her to drive everywhere. Her boyfriend's also like trying to get his permit and trying to, you know, he knows how to drive, being out in the ranch and stuff and on a field and stuff like that. He knows how to drive, you know, but he's just, you know, learned the rules of the road, and now he's got to take their own permit test, and then, you know, whatever little bit of time he has to wait, because he's about to be 18 too. You know, then he just go takes the test so that he can drive once he's at college, whether he's driving home, whether he's, you know, during breaks, whatever the deal is. Sorry, I'm finding areas that need to be fixed. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I did find a bunch of these. I was super stoked, and so I'm putting them in the new journal, or not the new, but like in our journal starter kit. I've got this and some of our bowl pins now added to the journal starter kit. So same price. I didn't up the price or anything. I just have added a few little extras to the kit and caboodle. I'm noticing this is coming loose too. So yeah, every little bit I can glue down, the better. All right, so we've got that in place. We got that in place. We thicken this up just a little bit. Every little bit helps. Now, according to this, it's really only a little bit above. And is this gonna... I want to make sure things match up nicely. So if, you know, the cardstock is wider than the fabric, which it is borderline that way, it is really tight. So I don't want to see the cardstock. So I think we're going to trim down. We will trim this down just a little bit so that it sits more in here. I really don't think I want the cardstock to go beyond the fabric by accident, because that would be bad. I'd rather have it somewhat line up with it, with the book page. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to go, and I'll straight line it and all that jazz. I'll probably try to cut it evenly. And we're going to come just shy of the edge, so that if and when it needs some wiggle room to open and close, it's maybe not going to get caught on the spine. So it's just a little extra something to help do this. Okay, so it means I gotta walk away, guys. I'm sorry. It's a lot of back and forth today if I wanted to show you. So I'm using this. It's sort of a bummer. We're not going to see any of it. I will ink it real quick just in case we see it on the edge up against the fabric. But I can do that, of course, the moment I get back here. So a lot of stop and start. Not that you guys know it, but I have to do it. So, you know, what can we do? Hey, it's better than yelling at you from across the room. Because truthfully, yelling from across the room isn't very professional. Not very professional. So I'm just trying to do the edges here so that, you know, over the edge of the book, up against the fabric, we have the potential, just like we've done with every other page, you know, every page on the edges are stained as if they were, just like you have the gold tipped books. Oh, I saw a book the other day, it was a hardback, and it actually had like a purple color with gold floral, you know, print or whatever. It was something that fit the theme of the book. And it was gorgeous because, you know, this had a, well, clear, this had, you know, a pattern and a design, and it was colored, and so the edges were, you know, I've seen a lot of ladies, for a while there on my feeds, there were ladies out there who were painting, you know, keeping it nice and tight and bound, and they paint a scene, you know, on the edges. So when you open it, of course, you can't see everything, but, you know, you flip through it, and I don't know, or you saw it, and then you did the whole, you soften it, you know, how you sort of fan it out, and you could see a picture, and seen some really cool things. There's a lot of ladies out there who have taken, you know, the journaling and the happy planning and all that, and have taken it, you know, taken books, and I'm going to redo this. Like, we need to create a new cover, and I don't like our paper cover. We're going to do something different. So that's been sort of cool. All right, so I think, knowing that, okay, we're going to do this so where we can see sort of some of the, where am I? Let me show you. That when we see, if we see some inking, if we see some edging, we're going to see the ink. So up against the fabric, up against the thing. So we're going to go here. I'm going to start with this in the middle. And then on the edge of the paper, I'm going to use the glitter glue because we really want this to be pretty solid. And we need it to be, you know, pretty stuck on. And then we'll use the fabric tack to, you know, go to the next level from there. So it's just an interesting way, I guess, to create a cover. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to do exactly. You know, I mean, I thought I had that we had our paper envelopes, and I had tissue podged it, which, I mean, it's a great cover, and I'm super stoked. I can't wait to do it. It's just not flexible enough with this journal. This journal has become so massive that doing, yeah, a harder cover sort of defeated the purpose, right? Here's an altered book. I probably should have just left it in the hardcover, and I didn't do that. Let's put that on backwards, guys. I should have left the hardcover on, right? I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I should have, well, and that was the thing. I took the cover off for another project. I needed the cover for something else, probably our winter book, my winter journal. And so I had the book pages, and they were bound, and it was good, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Let's do something else with it. So let's reassess a cover. Let's put a new cover on it. We were just talking about it, right? Sometimes you decide that you don't like the cover you've got, so you're going to use something else, which, being a newer book, yeah, this whole kit and caboodle probably would have been a little easier with the hardcover on. But now I know. I may have done it with the cover, and the cover has been sort of wishy-washy because it was older, so then it made it harder, and this was a newer cover, so this would have been easier, but I needed the cover color for something else, and then I realized I had all these book pages, so I felt I might as well use it for something. I didn't want to waste it. You know so much you can do with brand new pages. All right, so we're gonna ink it a little bit more because I know it's not perfect. I could cut it down to match, but I don't know if that's gonna bug me on the fabric or not. Let's see something here. Let's see if I'm gonna notice, tell, care. All right, if I put it down, and I can see it's off here and it's off here. Yeah, let's trim it. Let's trim it and see what happens. Which is easier said than done. Oh, there we go. Gotta get the right angle, right? I mean, yes, I can X-Acto knife to a point with my left hand, but when you're using it when you're right-handed, you have to make sure you have your book at the right angle. Gotta make sure. Oh, I see. And then this top section, same thing. I definitely feel this is thicker. I'm glad that we have 2 pages together. I'm glad there's washi on that outer page in between the cardstock and the cardstock and the washi, or well, there's washi between cardstock and the back page, so that hopefully it'll keep it all together with the binding, because no one wants to lose your page. That wouldn't be fun at all. Let's trim a little bit of that washi off. There's a light angle. Again, just trying to keep it clean, haha. If it's possible. Little bits here and there. All right, now, make sure I don't clog that up. Let's see if we can do this, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, the big moment. So I'm putting the glue on this. I don't want glue all over this that we don't need, right? I could even, in the end, go for corners on the back here. If I felt I wanted to give it a little bit more oomph, I could go for corners. I may have some more innate corners that I would like. Sometimes I only have 2 of something, which is perfect. They will not be on the front, of course. But if we wanted to give it a semi, I don't know, finished look in the back, when it's all said and done, I might, once these pages are glued in, be able to do just that. But we are going to put the fabric tack, which I can get it out. Come on. Like I said, on the paper, so that we are not getting it all over the fabric where we don't need it. And we're going to press the whole thing down as even as we can. Flat. We're not going to try to open this page and put it down. We want to be able to wrap this cover around the best we can. I don't know if I'm just gluing. Like, I don't even know if I'm in camera. I will look here in a second. That would be bad. So, not a tutorial, but I am measuring the back of the book, measuring the spine, measuring how far over I want to overlap the thing. I do suggest if you redo a soft fabric cover on an altered book, don't forget to leave yourself pages front and back to glue onto. Glue together, to glue to the fabric. And like I'm doing here with such a soft thing, that actually is not a bad idea to reinforce those few pages when they're glued together with cardstock. And then glue that cardstock down to the fabric, and you'd be able to sort of reinforce a nice soft cover to this. But I didn't put the ones on the front, and so that's what got me in trouble, right? So let's see if we can do it. So I have to turn this, let's go this way with it. Okay. I can't see it that way. Turn it around. I know, upside down, right side up. All right, hold on. I'm trying to do this where I don't goof it up at all. But I can all see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to center it. It's the joy of fabric tack too. Side to side, so it's not one side too much or the other. And that it's, ooh, let's not do that. Gotta be careful. I was trying to move the fabric forward. No, we're fine. Okay, never mind. Leave it. We're gonna actually pull it the other way. I want to make sure. All right, so I'm gonna turn it. I am gonna turn it upside down so I can sit here and press and press and press and press. I love this fabric. It's one of my favorites. It's floral. It's non-directional to the most part. Pretty, you know, nice little antique-y gold feel. Now, if you didn't want this to move around at all, you could have done some sewing to give it more of a tuft quilted feel, right? If we wanted to keep it a little bit more country, if this was a different, not so glittery, yeah, a couple lines across would have given it a little bit of a tuft and or quilted feel. And that would have helped keep some of this together, but I think hopefully everything will be tight enough. And if I'm not sure, I can definitely, you know, like I said, put the corners on here to help maybe keep it all together. I'm already not coming up, but that's okay. That's why we're pressing and gluing and pressing and gluing and pressing and gluing. Now what I could do while I'm doing everything else, let's see. I'm checking constantly because we do want almost all the way to the edge. Am I off? Not bad. I am trying to get in here and get all the way to the edge of the page if I can, and to press up and over. And I'm pressing down a little bit so that I am, you know, it definitely feels, you know, we've got 2 pieces of book page on a piece of parchment cardstock or cover stock. We've got 2 pieces of fabric with batting in the middle, right? Give us a nice soft cover so we do not have to stress. Now what I think I'm going to do, and I'll do it upside down, is I'm going to clip these a little bit here on the edges. I don't know that, they're not really tight enough. I was like wondering if they would be tight enough to make sure these corners stay together, but nope, I need the flatter ones. I need the slightly flatter ones, just to help to make sure things are sort of staying in place. May require a little bit of glue here and there, but ta-da, right? Nice glue. Loving the look, loving the look. And then we're going to go here. Now, I think I'm going to attempt to try to glue this down. And along the way, we're going to glue stuff down so that we have a chance of keeping it all together. Now, it may not stay glued in the spine every time we open and close this. This may come loose, and that's okay. We figured at some point it may have been a little bit of a dome and would allow, you know, we don't know how much wiggle room this is going to have, so I'm going to glue it, but I don't expect it to stay perfectly. I just don't. But I figured anything I could do to help, you know, reinforce this baby, the better, right? And I'm going to try to get more glue in here. A little piece of cardboard that goes to that mesh is, you know, keeping the pages together. It's doing okay. It's not perfect. For such a new book, it's definitely, because I don't believe this was an old book. I believe this was a newer book. I don't know anymore because I've covered everything, but, ties, I don't go too tight, but we're just gonna, yeah, press and hold, press and hold. I figured I might as well do this. I can test it out as I'm finishing the book, and that way if something comes loose, something comes up, I know how it's holding up. And I know how to reinforce it, I know how to tweak it, I know how to get it going so that you get it in its best possible light. I'm going to do this here, and then, you know, we're going to put lace over the edge here, and, ooh, do I want lace under or over? Ah, you know me. Oh, no. Ay, ay, ay. Me and my bright ideas. Now, that seems too too country. This is fun. This is country, this is fancy, I need something in between. Ooh, we could do green. Bring color. Trying to see if there's something I want to put underneath here. Instead of going across the top, do I want to go underneath? That's what I'm wondering right now. Oops, that's on the floor. I could do something like that, where you see a little bit of everything. You see a little bit of the floral edge. Brings it over. I know it covers some of this up, but you still see a lot of it. I like that idea a little bit. And I could still then I can do a thin trim on the top here. So then one of my thinner trims, if I can find one, that's too wide, too heavy. Where is my everyday? And I have a pin on the floor too. Hold on. I am looking for, one of these guys. We could then do something like this. I don't know if I have a lighter one. It pulls from the cream. We could do this across the top, this underneath. So it's like fancy country, fancy sort of country. A little bit of everything, right? Even turn around the other way. I might have a white. I know we did a lot of white inside. Try to see. We have that edge here. With the cute part is we do have that edge right there. We have that there. We have white there. A little bit of everything, huh? I do like that color, though. It's really pretty. I'm trying to decide. Or I'm just going to leave it, and then I can always put a large... We can do a cluster here. I have both some fabric, paper, a couple different flowers we could put here. Even up here to sort of expand that. Alright, so let's do that. I'm just trying to think my way through this, because you hate to do that. You hate to go, oh, I love it, and then go, oh, I should have put that underneath. And you kick yourself, right? So I'm looking to see where I need to cut it off. Right here. Get your proper scissors. There we go. Yeah, these were great in the shop. We didn't get a lot of it. But man, did we sell out. It's just they're gorgeous colors. It's this grayish blue. Well, I mean, it's sage, it's teal. I don't know what color you want to call it. Everybody has a different name for it. I lost the pen. I'll have to find that later. But, I mean, because anything, I have actual color. I actually have a color, but, I mean, some pink, yeah. We're going to put flowers on it. I have the gold trim. That's gold on gold. That's the only extra I have right now of the new GIMP. So maybe if I have some extra, oh, the cream, our pretty ivory cream GIMP. I gotta go measure that out. If I have a little extra, I think maybe we'll use that too. I always get the extras. I get the scraps. When the vendor doesn't quite give us what they're supposed to, and I'm like, oh, that's not exact. You know, I don't have an extra yard, or I have, you know, I get 3 inches, I get, you know, 9 inches, or I don't know, some weird amount that I'm like, oh, that's over. I get to play with those scraps, because I try to sell everything we can to you guys, but unless we get, you know, unless we get it from another large shop or bridal shop or something where, you know, we get, yeah, we're talking yards of it. Now I got to figure out exactly where I want to put this. I want to see some of the flower, but I don't want to see all of it. So we just get a little bit of a touch of it. So it's about there. So now I need to start gluing stuff down here, right? Want enough to where I can get it started, but not so much that I'm not to be perfect yet. There's some coloring to this, or discoloring to it, surprisingly. There we go, looks about right. It has its moments where there's some weird coloring to it. So we get to see some decor. Isn't that lovely? Oh, get to see the coloring cover, and that'll probably be it. I don't know if you'll see much more of this book until the final flip through, which could be weeks to, you know, a month or two from now, I'm afraid. Which I would have loved you guys to have this for spring and summer, which just depends. Of course, I've got the other spring journal to finish, which that one I think is almost done. This is the one that's taking more time. It really is, but that's okay. All right. Sort of like it loose right now, but I'll probably add more. We're going to go a little bit more in here. And unless there's a need for it to be very, you know, I'm going to go loose as I can on the dangle part, but try to keep it as secure as I can for the rest. We want the dangle to be there, but we don't want all of it to be there. I want all of it loosey-goosey because we don't want to rip anything up. But every extension that we do, one thing glued to the next, just I think helps with this whole thing. So we are definitely going to go across here. And I will go inside the inner edges too. So I'm going to do this here where I'm going to glue it down because that's going to be important. But I also need to be in here where it meets up. It's already got some glue down there, which is good. Oh, come on. Not squeezing hard enough. I'm trying to go dainty about it, and that doesn't need to be happening. Which I just realized, even though it's trimmed, I should probably put glue in there so it sticks to itself and it sticks to, yeah, there we go. So we're going to go nice and tight, up and up, press up, but press down at the same time. Because with glitter glue, you know, the heat of your hands and the pressing, it does make all the difference in the world. Get all the junk out of this. It gets all glumpy. Glumpy. The pressure gets there, which is fine, but okay. Well, I am very happy with this idea of a softer cover. I'm just sort of happy that we get to finally see something that looks sort of finished, right? It has a finished feel, but I really do think that either the pink or the creamy ivory gimp would be really pretty here. Even in a portion of it, I don't know which, like I'll just see what I have. Maybe it's 1 and 2 and a floral, and you know, but I think we definitely need some more shiny. Because the gimp we bought definitely had a prettier shine to it than I expected. I'm so stoked about it. Gosh, guys, it's just so pretty. With the gold, we have the light champagne. We have the I think I considered it ivory, and then the pink, which isn't a rose gold, isn't baby pink, and it isn't a rose gold. It's sort of in between, almost a mauve, but it has such a pretty shine to it that. So you're going to see a little bit of this here, and that's okay. You know, it is part of that cover. We did get it a little bit glued to the edge here, so when I open it, it bends with, yay, it bends with it. So no matter what I do, for the most part right now, it is bending with the cover. So, oh my gosh, there's a little bit of a gap back here, but that's okay. With as much as is going on, I'm okay with that. We don't want it to rip at all. So I'm so happy, guys. It's moving with the journal, and that is a huge thing. I am going to put a little bit in the spot that I see that I didn't get any down somehow. So on this outside edges, we're just going to do a little here, just to be on the safe side, right? I'll do the other side too. But it moves with the journal, and that is a huge thing, because the other one would have definitely torn, ripped, would always had a weird, may have always been laid flat, it may have always been closed, who knows. You want your journal to be flexible with you so that you can use it. And so, we found a fix. We found a wraparound, right? We recreated the cover. We made a goof. We forgot to leave paper in the front to glue it into like we did the back. So I have 2 pieces of paper now on cardstock glued onto fabric that has batting in the middle. Nice and soft but flexible. So, you know, a batted fabric cover does work. It moves nicely with this. Don't know if we'll do anything to the spine. I could find a piece of lace to go down the middle, just right down the middle if I wanted to, but right now, being as flexible as it is, I don't think it would stay. So we're going to decorate here, right? We're going to do a little here. We're going to do a little here. We're going to leave the back. I may put some corners on it because there is room to do so. Again, to help keep it all together, to give it a little bit, harder form. But we have a front cover, ladies and gentlemen. We have a cover to the journal, a cover to our altered book, and that is an absolute sigh of relief, because I've been waiting months, guys. Remember, I said I didn't know if this was going to work, and I didn't know if we were going to do it, and I didn't want to commit a cover that was gorgeous and find out it was going to fall apart. So yes, this still has some, it's going to see some wear and tear, right? We're going to see some aging with this front cover. At some point, you might decide as you get it that, you know, you could Mod Podge it. You probably could do something to the front cover here. I didn't think about doing that myself. That's a thought. I could try Mod Podging the inside here to see if that would make it a little stiffer, so that it does in the edges, so that maybe it won't fall apart. And as I'm going, I will look at that and see how it's going. If I find out that these pages are sort of coming apart, or not raveling, because that's what fabric unravels, right? But it is tearing or wearing down. If I feel it may just be a little too thin or too flimsy, glue does harden it up, right? We saw that. We just layers of tissue on paper, a paper bag, got very tight, right? So if I don't want to mess with this too much, because sometimes it has that gloss. Now we did leave this open. So if I wanted to, I could Mod Podge this and Mod Podge the inside, and it would definitely give me a harder cover on the outs and on this side. So I will look into that or think about it. Even if I Mod Podge a little into this corner, into the edge here, again, it might solidify and make it, the cover a little bit more sturdy. So I think there's always ways to fix something. There's always a ways to get around it and make it better and work it. So that may be it. I may do just a little Mod Podge on the front and back so the paper stays together and doesn't keep unraveling. And then we're going to put some GIMP and we're going to do floral goodies here. But I have to see if I have any extra. I have to go count. I got to count my stash. And if it looks like I have some extra, I can take a little off. And we can do some GIMP and we can do some florals. Because I have paper florals. I don't have any more. I had pretty sort of paper mache type flowers a while back. And I did it on a lot of the wildflower botanical type journals. And I've sold every one of those. I have a few purple left, but that's going to go on my purple journal, so I left those. Let's see. Nothing too... They were, they're like this type, this sort of paper mache type. I had some large ones. I have purple only left, and so I don't think... That doesn't mean I can't make. I mean, I have all kinds of little pretty ones. Ooh, let's see. Not so much Paris, and I love Paris, but I don't mind the Paris with the numbers on it. I'm like, whoop. I have buttons. I have things. You never know. I have these, but I don't want to get too thick with something and have them get squished. But I had a bunch of these, and I was really bummed because they all would have been beautiful. Now, this is good if I wanted to flatten it and put something in the middle. I can trim this off. I can tuck it in. We can do something like this. So I think I have the potential. Oh, I have those. Ooh, those might be pretty too. So I could put some colors in here. I forgot I had these guys. Wow, these are forever ago. And the blue ones, yeah, these were all left over from my 3 different types, right? I could do pink, yellow, and blue. We can do some GIMP. So we can get a little bit of something up here and definitely give it some pizzazz without getting in the way when you go to open it and work on it. They're not so 3D that we end up squishing things. So I think we have some potential, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very stoked about that. We'll do a little cluster, a little GIMP, so we have a nice cover. And I think I will try to attempt to Mod Podge the inside for sure. And if I like the matted or gloss finish that I have, then I will carefully, thankfully we didn't glue it down, right? I will lightly Mod it down into here, and we can have the front cover match the inside. And that will make this, again, a little bit more sturdy and not feel like it's going to peel and unravel every time we turn around. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We have our we have the potential of this. You'll get to see it. That will be your surprise, I guess, when we get it all said and done. And that won't be the fun part that you guys get to see when I'm all done with it, or in between things. If I'm working on other projects, all of a sudden I'll peek in real quick and go, oh, the cover is done. Or I like to do shorts. Sometimes when it comes to decorating things like this, I'll do a short here on YouTube and Instagram, and you get to see me throw it together real quick, right? Without the big old hoopla of me chit-chatting or timing or taking up too much time, but you get to see it on the short. So definitely keep an eye on, my YouTube channel, and hopefully as you favorite the shop and subscribe and notifications for the YouTube channel, that my shorts will also come up in your feed. Especially if you do a lot of journaling and a lot of, craft reels and shorts, then, you hopefully will see my potential, whatever. So, I love you all very, very much. Thank you for joining me as we finally got this part finished. And I'm so thankful that something as simple as that fabric and a few pieces of paper is working for us. I'm absolutely stoked. Like I said, let's see if I can show you. So when you do this, see, it really does bend with the book, and there's no gaps, there's no pull, nothing feels like it's giving and tearing. So I'm really happy with that after all the work we've done on the inside, right? All this stuff that we've seen on the outside, inside, all the work. We aren't losing any of that. So thank you all very much for liking, loving, commenting, following this series. It's meant the world to me that you've been watching it. One of my biggest projects, I think, to date, minus that black and white waterfall one. This is one of my biggest series so far. So I don't know if I'll do another one this big, but journal and or series. But it's a start, right? It's something. It's something I haven't done in a while, and I've never done before this much in depth. So I am loving that you guys have followed me, and I really, really appreciate it. So keep your eyes out for shorts. Keep your eyes out for quick flip throughs as I'm working on other projects. We will finish the waterfall 4 signature, not waterfall, watercolor, summer watercolor 4 signature book. It's another hardcover type of deal. So we will try to get the last of that done on camera, and then we have a brand new journal using the cover we didn't use, right? We are going to take my welcoming garden kit. I did a vertical notebook journal over a year ago, and now I have the horizontal pages, and I thought, you know what, a great, you know, quick spring, beginning of summer book. We have the great cover, right? Beautiful cover, add our lace. We're going to open this one up so the doors actually open up. We'll keep it a little 3D so we can still see some of our beautiful tulips. We hate to cover up all the tulips that I just created right there, right? But a nice simple cover that we can do something where just a nice 16 page or 16 pieces of paper, 30, what is that, 64 pages to look at and write on, a couple pockets, you know, and we're good to go. So this will be the next project. So hopefully you'll watch me. We'll work on them. Look through the pages, sew in the cover, put some pockets on. We'll do the front cover for sure. And then that will be something that'll be up in the shop here a lot quicker than this one will be. But it is the next project to be worked on. So love you all. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. Like I said, for following along in this very long series. I think this is 11, number 11 or 12. Yeah, it's been a season. So love you all very much. I will see you soon. This will not be the only video this week. I promise we'll have another one and or two, and we will go from there. So love you all very much. Bye bye.